Hafa and welcome to Weekend Edition. I'm Carmen Victoria Turlai. So glad you could join us. Well, the landlord for the Department of Revenue and Taxation building in Barrigada has this week to respond to concerns given from the Guam Fire Department. Nick Delgado has a story.
A need to bring its building up to code. Inspectors with the Guam Fire Department this week placing Rev and Tax building under a fire watch. GFD Fire Chief Daniel Stone.
Currently, the landlord was given 5 days to come up with a written proposal or a plan of execution in order for them to become compliant.
The property is owned by the Jotan Enterprises of Saipan. Chief Stone says efforts from the landlord to correct the lack of the fire prevention system have been proactive. They have been given until this upcoming week to present their corrective action plan to the Fire Department's Prevention Bureau.
We will hold them to that proposal. So we will do monitoring of the progress in the facility. Employees
at DRT have been forced to go on fire watch since last week's inspection.
It's allowed in the fire code, and as long as the parties keep that fire watch in place, everybody should be safe. That is the provision that we've put in place as an interim fix in order for them to keep the business open. Obviously, there's a lot of government business that gets conducted in that building, so to close that building would be a huge inconvenience to our community, and we're trying to work we're trying to work in partnership with Department of Revenue and Taxation as well as the landlord and all the other agencies that are involved.
GFD is also waiting to find out just how long the building's fire protection system has been out of order.
They were not able to provide us with the documentation immediately. I'm not sure if that's something they'll be able to provide to us at a later date. But all I know is today moving forward, it was discovered. So, of course, we have to take the proper and appropriate actions since we now know of its deficiency. As long as they're providing a reasonable effort towards compliance, we will work with them as best we can, realizing the impact that could take place if we were forced to close the facility down.
Though it may be business as usual over at DRT, the landlord has been given until Monday to provide its proposal to GFD. Reporting for Guam's News Network, Guahusi Nick Delgado.
The relatively high cost of airfare between Guam and the Sinamai has leaders from both islands seeking ways to reduce prices. The issue was discussed during a recent meeting of the Marianas Working Group hosted by Senator Will Castro. He says they're looking for a mutual tax or economic incentive for a local-based carrier to serve the route.
Experiencing exorbitant prices between Guam and the Sinamai, and we're hoping that we can come up with reciprocal or mirror legislation that would provide the proper tax framework for a company that's owned in part or in whole on Guam or the Sinamai or both to qualify for these tax incentives to provide the
Vet Clinic veterinarian Dr. Lisa Silk and her staff attended to Felix's wounds.
He had a peripheral paralysis, which means it wasn't something in his back, like a broken back or hit by a car. For whatever reason, the nerves going to his muscles were not responding, and that can be from many things. It can be from a toxin, it can be from ticks, because it affects the junctions of our nerves. So that's going to take time for those nerves to start working again. We started on the Western medical treatments for him, and it wasn't really responding. So I decided we were going to add the acupuncture and the herbal, and seriously, he started moving and walking within a few days.
Robert cried when his prayers were answered, and he caught Felix on camera walking.
You know, I always hear these stories about miracles happening, and this is a miracle where I actually, seen it.
Felix is the third paralyzed dog to walk under Dr. Silk's watch. With the stray dog population increasing here on island, Dr. Silk says leaders should take action.
We need to do something about the stray dogs. It's very possible that this was a tick disease. We as humans can get tick disease. So it isn't just an issue of having stray dogs that are definitely suffering, but they have diseases that we can get.
She shares this advice if you find an animal in need.
If they're scared and hurt, they may hurt you, but don't be afraid to come to the clinic. I will give you a sedative to give them or to do my best to help you get them. Don't just leave them. I cannot underestimate that if you have faith and the love, they know if you give up on them, they know.
Robert, who's now Felix's owner, never gave up on his dog. He says all dogs deserve a fighting chance.
Just because it's an animal, you can't just leave them to suffer or eventually die.
Right.
I mean, they're just like us human beings.
And in celebration of Mes Chamorro, our friends from the University of Guam Commission on Chamorro Language bring you Learn Chamorro.
Today, inanong si Michael Lujan Bavakwa, and in this video we are going to learn about possessive pronouns. Now, possessive pronouns are a little bit trickier than the other pronouns that we may have learned about so far in this video series. Possessive pronouns do not simply float around the words that you're using them for. They actually become attached to the words that you're using for. That's one reason why the idea that they're possessive is kind of makes poetic sense in a certain way. So your possessive pronouns are who and the variant ku, mu, nya, ta, mami, midzu, and niha. When these pronouns are written, they are often written with a dash or a dolan, and that is because they are attached to the end of the word that you are indicating ownership of. Now, one of the tricks, though, for using possessive pronouns, though, is that it will, for hu, mu, nya, and ta, you will change the pronunciation of the word. This is because, as part of the harmony of the Chamorro language, the stress in most words falls in the second to the last syllable, which means when you use a possessive pronoun, you extend the syllables. You add another syllable to the word, so therefore the stress will change. For example, kareta, karetahu. Kareta, karetahu. Note kareta, karetahu. Note the change in the stress when you add the possessive pronoun to it. Now, for the last three possessive pronouns, mami, midzu, and niha, you don't need to change the stress because they come pre-stressed for you. Mami, mami, stress there. Midzu, niha. The stress is already in what will now become the second to the last syllable if they are attached. One final point when using possessive pronouns is that when you're using mami, midzu, or niha, and if you're the word that is the noun, the object that's being owned in the statement, if it ends with an open vowel, you need to put an N on that to close that. And so, for example, you say karetahu, but you say karetan mami to close off the open vowel sound at the end. Possessive pronouns are one of the more complicated pronouns to learn for people moving from English into Chamorro, but with enough practice, you'll get it. And I can tell you that once you start to instinctively change the stress in words by adding possessive pronouns, you're going to feel like a Chamorro champion. Si Zeus Masi.
You can find all 11 Chamorro lessons by heading over to youtube.com on KUAM News. Stay tuned. Next on Weekend Edition, we have Transpotting coming up, and still to come, the Guam Crime Stoppers report.
There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
A simple handshake. That's all Jake Calvo needed when he started his company. Today, 80 years later, we like to say thank you to all of you who have taken our hand in trust. Thank you to the dreamers. Thank you to the realists. Thank you to the family-oriented. Thank you to the entrepreneurial. Thank you to those climbing the corporate ladder. And to the ones starting a new life together. Thank you to the traditionalists and the edgy, to the young at heart and the old souls. Thank you to the daring, to the protective, to the practical. Thank you to the hopeful. To all of you from all of us, our deepest, happiest, and infinite thanks.
80 years here for you. 80 years thanks to you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
Looking for a great deal on a new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram? Then get to Cars Plus in Mighty now for our spring sales event. Like a new Jeep Compass Sport, $166 per paycheck. Or a new Chrysler Pacifica LX, $220 per paycheck. Or save $8,500 on a new Ram 1500. How about a new Jeep Wrangler Sport? Only $274 per paycheck. Low 1.99% financing is available on approved credit. Save thousands during our spring sales event going on now at Cars Plus in Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you.
Uproar Team Series, Saturday, May 11th at Custom Fitness in Agotnya, a multiple extreme challenge event coming soon. Nothing is impossible. Look in the mirror and uproar.
Hafide and welcome back. Well, many headlines covered this week caught your eye either on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now it's time to take a look at what you had to say.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Trend Spotting. Here's what caught your eye on social media this week.
Right off the bat, you all went nuts over the revelation that the suspected explosive discovered down at the Agate Marina was actually a training device. Eric Duenas posted on Facebook, best cover story for 2019 so far. 9 more months to go. And Wu Chu added, WTH, our company and many others lost thousands of dollars worth of business that day due to this. In more positive news, our feature report for her story series on former Senator Hope Cristobal generated a lively discussion, with commenters noting that she was previously a beauty queen. And what's more awesome is several of her fellow contestants joined in. I traveled with her to compete in the Miss Universe pageant in Miami, shared Margaret Jones, and Hope herself joined in, thanking her friends for their mentorship. Over on the KUAM podcast network, our Chris Barnett went off on a rant about the recent news that during a confirmation hearing, there were instances of island residents flipping the bird.
What is it with this generation and the middle fingers? I don't understand why you guys like to show middle fingers in your pictures. Car in front of me has Calvin and Hobbes showing a middle finger, pissing on something. It's just basic decency, I feel.
And we also uploaded another episode of the insanely funny Boca Talks podcast, where real-life husband and wife Jess and Angela Rosario, whose signature banter borders on an all-out lover's quarrel.
The majority of the stuff in the pantry is processed. The fridge, because it needs to be refrigerated, it's not that processed. Because those are the foods that like rot fast and everything.
I'm thinking fridge like ice cream and all that
stuff. Whoa. Don't touch ice cream.
Over on Twitter, our own Jason Solis earned himself the Dum Dum of the Week award with a hilarious blooper, as he apparently left his brain back here in Harmon when we went to livestream Yoji's Charter Day festivities. He attempted to adjust our camera while he was standing right in front of it during a live show. Way to go, Jace. And finally, the most viewed and most engaging story of the week was again by Chris, as he brought his camera and his appetite to the Micronesian Mall to sample the menu of the sizzling new restaurant, Pepper Lunch. More than 12,000 views on Facebook in just a few hours saw residents tag each other saying, OMG, we need to try this place. Ernesto Ordonis Jr. added to the convo thread, this is my favorite spot, par, in Philippines. And lastly, Riri Gonzalez de Leon commented, never mind diet, let's go. This had us cracking up and all of you as you hit it with multiple hysterical emojis.
Thanks for joining us. Catch us next week for more Trend Spotting.
Thanks, Sasha. Well, Jason is coming up next with your Guam Crime Stoppers report.
Advances in technique and medications used to prevent dental pain have shattered the myth that a dental visit is something to fear. Even the dreaded root canal or wisdom tooth extraction. Swabbing or spraying a topical numbing agent on before the injection and using different techniques and anesthetics can create a relatively comfortable or pain-free injection. Injections are often the most feared procedure. Some patients don't like the sounds or the vibrations of decay removal. If you're still nervous or you gag easily, despite these techniques, very safe oral medicines can be taken before your dental appointment to eliminate all fears, or some clinics use nitrous oxide gas. Pain relievers can easily be prescribed to eliminate mild to severe dental discomfort after any visit. For your Helpful Dental Minute, I'm Dr. Kenny Bourgeois of Paradise Smiles. We shall never know all the good that a simple smile can do.
Looking for a great deal on a new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram? Then get to Cars Plus in Mighty now for our spring sales event, like a new Jeep Compass Sport, $166 per paycheck, or a new Chrysler Pacifica LX, $220 per paycheck, or save $8,500 on a new Ram 1500. How about a new Jeep Wrangler Sport, only $274 per paycheck? Low 1.99% financing is available on approved credit. Save thousands during our spring sales event going on now at Cars Plus in Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you.
The Good Life, all month long on the stations and networks of KUAM. Check the KUAM News app or KUAM.com for all program listings.
Hafa day, everybody. I'm Sabrina Salas-Matanani.
Chris Barnett, and join us every last Monday of the month for the after party,
where we talk about news and views.
Arte.
All right, everybody, if you have been watching our starting lineup week daily series of live streams on Facebook Live, you'll see the gentleman seated on the blue couch right now, Sergeant Paul Tapal. Very good friend of mine for many, many years. But, Paul, this adventure that we've now been on, you've actually been running point on this one. You've been taking us to the various police precincts, giving people a really deep view at the way you guys do your operations. And as we found from this past week when we went to Tumon, it's an interesting job and one that you guys take with a lot of pride.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when we first started this venture, it was really how do we bring the Guam Police Department back to the community. So when you guys gave us the opportunity, we ran with it. We're like, let's just show them who we are. Let's just show them the struggles and the challenges that our officers face, the different dynamics with the precinct, and you know the volume of calls that they have to entertain on a daily basis. So you know we saw firsthand. You know, we got the blessing of Chief Ignacio. We actually had to sit down with him. We went up to Dededo Precinct. We saw firsthand about, you know, just the challenges that they face with minimal manpower of 1, 1, and 4. And, you know, moving down, changing that dynamics from 70,000 people to an industry in Tumon, the tourism industry, where, you know, the officers there have to be exposed and be very, you know, cognizant of what's going on with the tourism side, not just in Tumon, but also, you know, the proper with the Tutua area and everybody there that surrounds that business. So you see the dynamics shifting as we move down.
And you guys have been incredibly open. I mean, we told you in the beginning, we just said when we talked to Sabrina and Ken and Asha and myself, and we said, you know, let's shoot for the moon. Let's say we want to see the inside of a cell. You guys have shown us that, which is something that, you know, maybe before you'd say the only way you're going to see the inside of the jail cell is if you're actually inside it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it's just one of the things that we have at the precinct, but really highlighting the officers and some of the challenges that they face. I think it's really important that we bring that out to the community and, you know, highlighting all our initiatives that's actually working with the Guam Police Department and the community, such as our Neighborhood Watch program, such as, you know, our youth initiatives. And again, we want to, you know, pay tribute to where tribute's due. When Simon Sanchez was broken into, the students from Simon Sanchez, we also featured them, the Mad Sharks, that this is their initiative that they built from the ground up, understanding that they can make a difference. So, you know, thank you again for the opportunity in providing us an outlet in which we can showcase the challenges of the Guam Police Department, but also some of the success stories that we can highlight, and the community has that connection now with the Guam Police Department.
And you guys can see all of these episodes right now on our Facebook Live page and on YouTube. Really, really awesome. Where are we going next week?
Next week,
I'm looking forward to these.
Yeah, next week we're going to go down to the Agana precinct, and as we segue into the package, we're going to discuss about a robbery that occurred. But again, as we highlight the dynamics that changes, here leaving Tumon, now you're going to see the dynamic shift to government operations, the legislature building, the sites, the ruins, and everything. That pillar of society, the first civilization, and not the first civilization, but the first form of government that was introduced. So you're gonna see how the Agana switches over, and of course, we're gonna give tribute to the Agana precinct, because in a few months we're gonna be decommissioning the precinct and moving our officers to the new central precinct.
Okay, so speaking of a central village, I know, as you just said, this is this week's crime of the week, correct?
Yes, this is a crime that occurred at Ditoto proper. So, we're asking the community, because of the fact of the violence of the crime, and of course what happened. It really, we want to bring justice to the victim.
Okay, there's a lot of people in Toto. I got a lot of friends there. They are really good, hardworking, God-fearing people. They don't need crime in their community, so here's what you can do to help out.
On Friday, March 14, at around 12 o'clock in the morning, officers from the Higganyo Precinct Command responded to guarding court in Toto relative to a robbery that occurred. Now, the preliminary investigation suggests that the victim, a resident of the complex, was approached by 5 unknown male Micronesians while at the rear side of the complex. The victim indicated that he was then assaulted by the men, in which they took his cell phone. As the men continued assaulting the victim, they demanded his password. Fearful for further attacks, the victim was able to run away, where police were later contacted. As a result of the assault, the victim was transported to Guam Memorial Hospital for treatment and care. The suspects were only described as male Micronesians. Now, the Guam Crime Stoppers is reaching out to the community for their assistance relative to this case. If anyone has any information about this crime or any other crime, you can call our 24-hour hotline at 477-HELP, that's 4357, or submit a tip online at guam.crimestoppersweb.com. All calls will remain completely confidential, and a cash reward of up to $1,000 could be paid if the information provided leads to an arrest and a grand jury indictment. Your call does make a difference.
All right, Sarge, we appreciate it as always. And in closing, I want to ask this, because I haven't asked you this yet on the live streams. And we don't rehearse for this. This is you're seeing everything as it happens.
Yeah, it's like, shoot, let's just figure this out as we go along.
Yeah, and so I've never asked you yet. How are the different officers when they're assigned to a precinct? Is it just like luck of the draw? You get randomly assigned, or say when I come out of the academy, if I'm from Tumon and I know those streets like the back of my hand, I can find my way around walking backwards, blindfolded in the dark.
Yeah, it's the direction of our operations sergeant, Major Manny Chong. He sees the need for the operation, and really dealing with personnel of just 114B coverage. And I want to just stick with 114 because that's from the dead of the precinct to the southern precinct. Our officers have to be able to endure, be innovative, and be very creative, and also be motivated. So, you hear every segment, we always attribute to supervisors that they are the first point in motivating our troops out there. So, management in itself really looks at the operation and how and what's needed to bring the officers there. So it's not the luck of the draw, it's really where the management sees fit and the department sees fit, in which you can better serve and protect the community.
Okay, now if I'm just the average Guamanian, I really, really love my village, I want to take care of my neighborhood, and I want to do something that I can directly be part of making sure crime does not get into our neighborhood. What's the best way for me to do that? Can I enlist in GPD? Can I be a reservist?
Absolutely.
Or can I just join my neighborhood watch program?
Start to see what you can do to make a difference in your community. Reach out to your mayors. We have a great link. We have a great partnership. There's a great communication between us and our respective mayors. If you want, we're looking for dedicated men and women who would like to walk in our boots and serve and protect the sign. And so stop by Department of Labor, and I'm sorry, not Department of Labor, the Department of Administration, DOA, and pick up an application.
It's been a while since you had to apply for a job.
Yeah, we're welcoming, hopefully, knock on wood, and everything goes accordingly. We're looking at bringing in 28 officers into the training academy. So, we want to feature that. We want to highlight that. But again, the Guam Police Department's here for you guys. So, take advantage and, give us a call.
All right, man. So we really appreciate doing this segment for you, and I'll look for you Tuesday at Sinahania, right?
Wednesday at Agana Precinct. We're going to, wish Agana well and move on as we're going to transition into the new precinct. But
all right.
We'll be in again your precinct. We'll probably
Okay.
take a walk at the Palooza.
All right, very cool. So unlike this segment, that segment is completely live. And for those of you who are wondering, yes, Paul is very, very large. He's a football player. He's also super funny, and you'll get to see that when you tune into our show on Facebook Live. We'll see you then.
Thanks again.
All right, and we'll see you right after this break.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist. Over 20 years of experience.